How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
So, what you been up to lately?
Me? Working,
Working?
cutting a lot of grass.
Cut a lot of grass. Where'd you go to cut grass recently?
Last yard I did, a couple yards on Cleveland Avenue over here.
Did you really?
Yeah,
That sounds like fun.
yeah.
That's
You know,
awesome.
it paid money.
Really?
That's what matters, right?
Yeah.
Pays
Well,
bills.
so what you been up to lately? I heard your brother passed recently.
He was, yeah, my brother from another mother.
Yeah.
My chosen brother,
Yeah.
chosen. He's, I love him. I miss him, man.
So, lately though, aside from that tragedy, how you been like holding up? Like you've been working a lot lately. What was like the grass you cut recently? Whose grass you cut recently?
It was a yard on Cleveland Avenue.
Cleveland Avenue.
Yeah, it was a yard on Cleveland Avenue where I cut
Oh, really?
last. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been on there. Yeah, I've been there in a while. I used to live close to there, but yeah, Cleveland Avenue is really it's a nice street.
It was over on the side by past the splash pad over here.
Oh, but I used to, I used to live by Wilson Pool,
Yeah.
so
Well, the former location of the splash pad, where the splash pad is now, is where Wilson Pool used to be, right?
yeah. But I used to,
I learned to swim there.
I was never. I used to swim over here at the Y. Yeah, I usually take when I was a kid. I took swimming classes. I go to open swimming. I like indoor pools better. I just always have. It's better for your skin. You don't get sunburned.
August 1986, I went and swam every day during August of 1986 at Wilson Pool. I lived on Franklin Avenue over by Milliken Woods, and I rode my bike there to swim every day. Didn't have nothing going on at home, Rode the bike to the pool. Loved it.
The thing was though, you know what I hate about swimming? Well, I like swimming a lot, but you know one thing I always hate about is when you're in the pool, you end up having to pee a lot.
Yeah, maybe. Depends on how much liquid you drink.
Well, that water really gets to your bladder. Yeah.
Thing is, all you gotta do is jump out and run to the bathrooms right there. Boom, boom.
One thing I was hated about swimming. One thing I did like about swimming. Another thing I love swimming, but another thing I didn't like about it, swim at the Y. What drawback to swim at the Y is when it was over with, and you had to go get change and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You open the room to the locker room. You open the door to the locker room. This big rush of cold air would just come right at you. Why did you in the pool?
Oh yeah, shrink up your Johnson.
No, it's just cold. Ugh.
I mean, you know what cold air does? Makes the turtle go in the shell.
But yeah, when I remember being a kid, I was hating that. I always open that door over here till it's constructed the same way. It hasn't changed really any. In there in the pool, you just open the door to the locker room. It's like when you're done swimming, it's just like this rush of cold air comes at you. I'm like, oh god.
I remember going to the Y to swim with my class in school.
Yeah.
We went there. That's the only time I swam at the Y was with the school field trips to the Y. And you had to jump in and make sure you could swim all the way across and back from the length of the pool before you was allowed to go off the diving board.
Really?
Yeah. You had to go swim back from one into the shallow to the deep and back.
Well, anyway, I was wondering though, did you ever like how old were you when you learned to swim? Do you think 7?
Yeah.
I remember they would like promote you like at the YMCA. You'd be called like Guppy, and then it would like you would go up.
I didn't get swimming lessons. I taught myself how to swim.
Really?
Eastview or Eastgate.
The
one that was on the knob was where I learned how to swim.
Yeah.
It had a big fountain in the middle of it. I remember. I taught myself how to swim underwater first because that was the easiest. You just hold your breath and kick your feet. Then I taught myself how to swim above.
Really?
Then I started going off the diving board, and then we moved over to the west side, and I went to Wilson Pool after that.
Okay. You ever scary incident swimming?
Yeah.
A scary incident swimming ever?
Okay, scary incident swimming.
Yeah.
This is as an adult.
Really?
And this wasn't in the swimming pool.
Really?
This was in the creek.
Oh, Jesus.
And also in a pond one time.
Yeah.
One time I was a little paranoid. The cops were trying to fuck with me, and it really wasn't. I was just paranoid. I went across this big field that had like a horse fence around it, right? And I ran to this big pond, this big retention pond. and it went towards the street way down that way, and I couldn't see the end of it the other way. I wasn't wanting to walk around this thing. I thought I could walk across it. It wasn't really that big. So I pull my phone out of my pocket. I start walking across it. Well, before you know, I can't walk no more. So
Yeah.
I got on. I started to try to swim. Well, I had a hoodie on and
Uh-huh.
a lot of clothes.
Yeah.
I ended up going underwater, and I almost drowned in the middle of the pond.
Did you?
Yeah. And then I finally got over to the other side, and I laid there for a long time. It was crazy. Then another time, I was running from the police for real, and I jumped down in the creek and over here by Riverview Market, and this lady cop, she jumped right. I didn't think she would jump down the hill. There was a big hill that went down the creek. It had been raining it was like April, you know what I mean? So it had been raining for freaking a month, and the water was well over my head. And the creek, now this is the creek that runs by the old dam there, it runs into the river. And man, dude, same thing. I had on a light jacket. I had on a pair of work boots. You know what I mean? And when she jumped down, they had just took a crane and knocked down a lot of the trees right there so that they could see that wall right there by the bike trail from the road. They wanted to clear all them trees out of the way. So there was all these sharp ass stumps that were sticking up. You know, honeysuckle about this big around. It was like little stakes sticking up everywhere. So that's why I didn't think she would jump down after me. I got all nicked up and cut up. She jumped down after me. She knocked me into the water when she landed at the bottom, and then grabbed a hold of my arm, and she wouldn't let go. And I got away from her, and I had to backstroke across the creek. And the same thing, man. All that weight was pulling me down. Plus, I had just ran, you know, before that, and I got woke up out of a dead sleep when this happened. Anyways, the cops were on the other side by the time I made it across. There was like 7 cop cars over there, and they arrested me. It was stupid. It was funny.
Really?
They all make fun of me for it. Any of them that remember, if I ever get arrested, they remember that shit, I get made fun of for that.
What was the funniest time
She was cool. She took it like a champ, though. She didn't hit me with no assault on police officers. I didn't try to assault her or anything. I just ran. And I did break her grip on my arm. You know what I mean? And she gave me a failure to comply 2 times. Once for running in the first place, and once for getting away in the water. So.
That was, yeah. So, yeah, well, you know, the thing does, I had one scary incident one time where I was at the YMCA. This was back in the 90s when I was in junior high school. And I had a friend, we hung out all the time. And we went swimming. And he put, like, I was, like, underneath. And I was, like, under the water. He's like, go ahead, go underneath this raft here and go on the other side. This is like a little raft over there in the swimming pool. He's like, go underneath the raft. And I'm like, I don't know. And what he did is he pushed me underneath the raft. I was under the water. He pushed me underneath the raft. I came out on the other side. It's like, oh, that's the scariest I ever had. See, not that bad, Jake. That's what he said. I like freaked me out though. Shit. I remember really a whole lot of scary things I had swimming. I was never the most daredevil person, so I never had a whole lot of scary incidents swimming. But then you said day camp, but they had open swimming like from like 2 to 4. Sometimes they had at night. I don't know if they do it all day now or not over there. I've been there in a wild swim.
I don't know. My son took swimming lesson at the Y. I don't know. I taught my nephews how to swim rather easily when they were kids. You know?
Yeah, Mary.
I was an uncle when I was 10, so
yeah,
they were like my little brothers, more than my nephews.
Oh, yeah. The thing was,
my older brother was more like a dad, you know.
I would tire out more easily though, but like swimming and stuff like that, because I, easily going over there. But I usually didn't do. I never went off the diving board or anything like that. So, but yeah. So what are you up to? Like later on today?
I'm not even sure yet, man. Just hanging out.
Just hanging out?
Going back to my spot, and just kicking back and probably watching a movie or something.
Okay. Well, good luck to you, bud.
All right, thank you.